All right, here we are at lesson number 11 finally. And really, this is where we've been trying to get to because now the fun begins. This is called the draw loop. And right now you're like, okay, what does that mean? Haven't we kind of been creating and drawing? Yeah, kind of. But here's where we really get to begin the animation part. All right, so let's take a look here. When you see something like this GIF of the peanuts, all right, you see things moving. That's what we've been waiting for. And what's really happening behind the scenes is that this looks like it's moving, but what's really happening is it's kind of like a flip book. Did you ever make one of those either with like a pack of Post-it notes or a bunch of cards where every image, or I should say every card, just has something move a little bit, and when you play it together really fast, it actually creates the kind of the vision that something is moving. So, for example, let's take a look at this quick animation here of somebody that drew on a pack of Post-it notes. Let me run this. There's no volume, so just kind of watch. It's got a little car. So as he starts to fan it, here we go. All right, there it goes. Vroom. All right, so every single Post-it just has this car move a little bit. It has that hill that kind of occurs in the middle of it there and then comes back down. All right, that's really what's happening. In fact, that's what happened when you were looking at old Disney movies. Okay, things are a little bit different now with digital um, things because you can actually program the computer to make it look like it's happening much faster. But there's amazing things that would happen on Disney. Let me see if this is the one where it shows a little bit of the old um, Disney process here. Oh no, this is another flip book. This is good too. This is one on index cards with the T-Rex. Okay, so notice this one's cool because it has that line up. Notice that line is like the consistent thing on the bottom, and then each card you'll notice has different things kind of moving, coming at T-Rex. And then, oh, sad, at the end, the big fireball comes. All right. This really is what's happening when we program things. All right. It's every little scene, and then it gets run so quickly, your eye just assumes something's moving. And that's how we make things look animated. All right. So let's take a look at where we're headed. The programming that you are going to get today to help us animate our images in Game Lab is something called the draw loop. All right, so let's watch this one together in lesson number 11 with this video from Amara, and she will explain more on how the draw loop works and functions in Game Lab.
Animated movies create the impression that characters are moving smoothly, but if you slow them down enough, you'll realize there are lots of individual images. Each image is just a little bit different from the one before. Speed them back up, and your eyes are tricked into thinking you're watching real-life motion. A very simple example of this effect is a flipbook. The key to animation, whether on paper or the computer, is that part of the drawing is changing over time. An easy way to achieve a change is to use the random number command to generate a new random location, size, or color for the shape we're drawing. Here's a simple program that draws a single rectangle with a random X position and a random Y position. If we run and reset this program over and over again, we can see that it draws the rectangle in a new position each time. But that's like a flipbook with only one page. To create real animations, we need to be able to string these pages of the flipbook together. In GameLab, we'll do this using the draw function. The draw function is special in GameLab. The commands inside of the draw function are run line by line from top to bottom. But once the computer reaches the end of the commands inside the draw function, It jumps back to the beginning and repeats the commands over and over again, as long as your program is running. Because the code in the draw function repeats in a loop, we'll just refer to this as the draw loop. Let's move our rectangle inside the draw loop and see what happens. Whoa, so many rectangles! We can see that a rectangle isn't just being drawn once anymore. GameLab is automatically calling the commands inside of the draw loop many times a second. In this program, that means that a new random x and y location is generated, and then a rectangle is drawn over and over and over. You can place as many commands as you like inside of the draw function. For example, let's choose a new fill color before drawing each rectangle by placing a fill command inside the draw loop. Instead of always choosing the same color, we'll randomize by replacing the red value with the random number command. So in every frame of the flipbook, the computer is picking a new shade of red and setting that as the fill color. Then it picks a new x and y value and draws a rectangle with those values. In a typical animated movie or flipbook, you don't continue to see all of the drawings that came earlier in the animation. Instead, you have the illusion of a single shape or character moving over time. You'll discover how to make that happen with the draw loop soon.
I want to go back just 1 second so that you can see this part right here. Sometimes I forget what they call it, like multiple image or something. Because I came from a printing background, I call that ghosting, where you like see this image, or stamping of it, where you see it over and over again. And I'll tell you exactly how to avoid this happening when you run your draw loop. All right. So Amara is done. I need you to do two things. One, you're going to stop the video for a second so that you can all get your journal out, because I want you to draw we're going to draw the draw loop, and then I'll give you some pointers on how to make sure that it's going to run properly. All right. So pause me for a moment, get your journals or paper ready, and start it up when you are ready to go again. Okay, so on the top, because they kind of showed you a little bit of that draw loop, what I want you to do is at the top, just write draw loop. Okay, so just write, you don't have to write demo, just write draw loop up there. And actually, I'm going to use green because in code.org, it actually is a green command. So draw and make this kind of big. So it's going to look like a big block letter C, and make it big enough because we've got to draw some stuff inside of this. This looks pathetic. I'm sorry. Okay. Just make it look like this big kind of C letter. All right. On top up here, it usually will say something like function, draw, so that way you know, because eventually we'll have more and more functions that we'll be adding on here. But this is why we call this the draw loop, or the draw claw, I might call it. Now, this particular function has kind of a default where it is going to run everything that's in here 30 times every second. That tricks your eyes into thinking that this thing actually is moving. Okay. So whatever's in here runs 30 times a second. Here are my hints or my suggestion. The first thing that you should always have in here is your background. And the reason I'm telling you, like if you have a plain color background, like blue or yellow or something, just like the end of this image that Amara was showing us here, where you get this ghosting look or that stamping multi-image look, that's because you didn't keep drawing the background every single time. All right. So background always comes first. Then it would be any of your, what I'm going to call your animation. So typically, this is usually some kind of sprite property, maybe. Or if it's just a shape, like when she was drawing all of those boxes, it could be a rectangle or an ellipse. You might have some fill color, whatever. You have all of the things that are going to move or change come next. And then put your draw sprite inside the draw loop and make it the last thing. Sometimes we might have an exception to this, but for the most part, background, all of the stuff you want to change, and then your draw sprites. Okay? That will be the big hint. Get this in your notes and keep it handy. And then pause the video again so that you can now get your Chromebook out. Get to code.org lesson 11, level number 2, because level number 1 is actually the video. So I want everybody to join here at level number 2 and pause the video till everyone's there. Okay, here's what you see. The instructions say draw loop. Here's an example of the draw loop at work. Run it, see how it works, and talk to your elbow partner to think, does this operate like the flip book you saw? Pause the video and see what people think. As we come back, no, here's what's happening. This ellipse just keeps getting stamped multiple times. It's eventually going to cover that whole screen. All right. It's not like I'm seeing each one move separately. All right. That's all you have to do here. Hit finish and go to the next one. Now, this one looks the same. The same type of thing is happening. Now, this time, it's your turn to do some work. So they want you to add code to this program so that now, not only are we getting the green circles, because it says filled green and ellipse with a random X and Y position, now go ahead and add an orange circle. Okay? Don't get rid of the green one. You're going to be adding on the inside. After you get that done, you have various levels throughout. This is going to take longer. Do not skip levels. You are really going to miss all of the practice and instruction if you do that. And I'm not going to check off the level that you're supposed to do or that I checked if you haven't done everything, because now you're really needing it. When you get to 7, I want you to do parts A and B. Level number 8 is the checkpoint, and your job is to make this salt shaker bounce up and down like this picture. And then if you get done with all of that, you can go to the challenge level and part A, because that is going to bring forward your project and ask you to now add the draw loop and see how you can make your project have some movement. All right. Good luck. Keep working. Remember that in Schoology, I have a video for every single level if you get stuck or have a question. And that's very important if I'm not there with you. All right? Be good and work hard, and I will see you next time.